Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we'll return with round 8 of the F224 Andrea Kimi Antonelli career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here at what is my home Grand Prix, but of course not Kimi's. We're here at Silverstone, the home place of Formula 1. I guess the home of Formula 2 would technically be Bahrain, I want to say. Obviously, yeah, Charles Leclerc with that just magnificent drive all the way back almost 10 years ago now. That is very, very worrying to think about as well. We are currently P5 in the standings, 26 points back of your championship leader, who, if I'm not mistaken, is still Gabriel Bortoleto. If you missed out on the videos that went live last weekend from Barcelona, I would highly recommend going back and checking them out as well. This season is getting very, very exciting. So I can't wait to see what happens this weekend. Hopefully we can try and get a big result around the track that is very high speed. Well, here we are then back at Silverstone, one of the longer circuits on the F2 calendar, but certainly is still a difficult one to try and get nailed, of course. Gotta remember just where I want to be hitting my braking points and everything like that in this car. But I'm hoping on paper this weekend can be quite a good one for us. I do really enjoy Silverstone inside F124, but how will it be in these Formula 2 cars there, as I've compromised the car a bit through Sector 1 to try and hopefully be quick around the rest of the lap. Our teammate Ollie Behrman, though, he will be looking to try and get a big result here, but of course let's not forget he won back at our home race, so I would like to try and return the favour here as we make our way down through Luffield, really trying to throw the car in to those apexes. You can't quite do it the same way you would with a Formula 1 car. This thing you have got to be a bit more patient with, and that generally, I feel, suits my driving style as well inside the F1 games there as we try and make our way through the old turn 1. Just about hang it out on the curbing there, and now in towards Maggots and Beckett's we go. Try and just be brave on the way in there. We can see we're a little bit braver than our teammate Ollie Behrman, but will that compromise our run on the exits? Paul Aaron, another of the championship favourites at the front of the order. We did go purple through that first sector, so clearly we have got a lot of straight line speed in the car, but just a handful of corners to go now. Like I've said, we need to try and make sure that we're inside that top 10 in every qualifying session between now and the end of the year. And as long as we don't mess this up, I think that's hopefully where we're going to end up being. But where in the top 10? Will it be there? Huge snap of oversteer as we make our way through the final corner. It is P5. That's okay. I'll take it. Well, there we go. Paul Aaron will take pole position then ahead of Isaac Hadjar. Behrman in P3, ahead of Colapinto and ourselves there. Miata getting himself inside the top 10. And Taylor Barnard at his home Grand Prix as well. Is he finally going to make it so every single driver will score a point this year? Amory Cordial just misses out there in P11. So it will be Pepe Marti that's going to start this one from pole. Let's not forget Pepe Marti now ahead of both ourselves and Ollie Behrman. Bortoleto, though, 13 points back now behind Paul Aaron, and he is all the way down in P13, so he's in for a tough weekend. He has to try and make some moves. Let's see what we can do, though, as we head into the sprint.
So today, the sprint race, no pit stops, just full-on pace. It's all about speed, daring, and sheer driving skill. What, I wonder, is in store for us today? Five miles out from Tosa, this icon of British motorsport heritage comprises 18 corners over 3.6 miles of circuit. Silverstone has been through several changes over its lifetime, with the start line now leading into Abbey, a fast right-hander for turn 1. But still there, of course, is the circuit's most famous and iconic sequence of corners, starting at Maggots, turn 10. And we welcome you to the Formula 2 commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside me for this one is Mr. Alex Brundle. And we've got this format in Formula 2, Alex, where the top 10, they get reversed from qualifying to form our grid. So the mid-order in qualifying now become contenders for the win.
Try to leave reverse in the pit lane if you possibly can. You do not want to be going backwards from the front row of the grid. This is the moment where some drivers are able to snatch points they won't be able to later on.
Well, there we are then, down on the grid, ready for the sprint race here at Silverstone. Only 11 laps. It's one of the fastest races that we do all season. It really does rival Jeddah and Monza inside this game. And I love it here. You know, it's high speed, it's high commitment, but unlike Jeddah, you don't have to worry too much about the walls. If you find yourself near a wall, I think you've done something very, very wrong. But ready then on the grid here in Silverstone. It's 5 red lights down on the grid. And it's going to be the 5 red lights and lights out, and away we go. They're off to a very, very good start. Oh, I'm trying to cut down the middle, but I didn't realise there are actually 2 cars on my outsider's contact with a Ratomo Miata there, and that could be really, really bad. We almost got turned around last weekend out at the Austrian Grand Prix, didn't we, at the start of that one? And luckily this time round, we live to tell the tale, as Taylor Barnard will try and chase down Pepe Marti through the first couple of corners. We're getting all kinds of sideways, trying to put some temperature into the tyres there. And yeah, the hard compound, definitely a noticeable lack of grip than what we experienced on the softs in qualifying on Friday night there. But you can see we've got a lot of drivers up in kind of your top 5 positions, maybe with the exception of Colapinto. We don't often see scoring big points here, so, and Pepe Marti, I suppose. He's like that one guy inside this series that is like completely unrealistic to what you would expect to see from him in real life there. The fact he's ahead of both Bramers, I mean, he might still actually be ahead of both Bramers in the IRL standings, but we all know, of course, F2 24 IRL has not exactly been the fairest of benchmarks for junior drivers. That being said, though, of course, this series can be a little bit topsy-turvy as well with the way things work out. But as we make our way then down the back straight, though, see everybody just trying to be fairly sensible on lap 1. We've obviously just got to try and focus on taking points out of Paul Aaron, but I also want to learn where we can make moves ready for the race tomorrow. Oh, we got yellows. We got yellows. Someone seems to be dropping to the wayside in this Grand Prix very early on. Who is that going to be then? That already everything goes from bad to worse. It's Enzo Fittipaldi. So one of our Brazilians then already out of this. Surprise, you know, that could have very easily been a safety car here. But yeah, Enzo just really has not delivered this season. I think kind of the way a lot of people expected him to. The DRS has been enabled then. I'm expecting things to immediately get a little bit more crazy. As are we going to see Taylor Barnard able to apply pressure to Pepe Marti at the front of the order. Already we've kind of seen our top 5 really bunching up to each other down the end of the straight. You can see everybody just now kind of appreciates that the can of worms has been opened. And I mean, all it takes is for Barnard and Pepe Marti at the front just to go side by side, and everybody else will suddenly sense opportunities. Also on the other side of that, if you lose the DRS to the car in front of you, as I think we can start to see towards the back of the order, you're going to have a hard time trying to close back in. And here goes Taylor Barnard again then. Which way is he going to go? To the left-hand side of Pepe Marti. Down the hanger straight they go. Will the Brit, be able to get to the front of the order? Of course, in this series, technically, he isn't my fellow Brit. Although, I do apologise if I end up with a slip of the tongue. But Taylor Barnard, the only driver yet to score this season, suddenly leads the Silverstone sprint race. This is why I love Formula 2. It really does give anybody a shot, as Isaac Hadjar claims fastest lap. Not for very long, though, because Victor Martins is going to improve upon it. It really does seem like no one can get a run down the Wellington straight, so all the moves are going to have to come here down the Hanger straight, but I just can't do anything right now. Yes, here we go, Pepe Marti again. This time he'll have the inside line, I guess, down the past Taylor Barnard. So, well, 2 identical moves there, but, well, 2 opposite moves. I don't really know. Pepe Marti was on the right-hand side both times. This time around, he's back into the lead of the race, as we're almost at half distance. And I'm going to have to start getting braver if I want to try and make anything happen here. I do not want to spend the rest of my afternoon staring at Richard Verschore's rear wing. So try and be nice and brave through turn 1 and turn 2. Are we going to be close enough this time to have a bit of a look? We'll slip down the inside of the Dutchman. He'll hold the inside line though. Oh, through the next corner there. Really trying to compromise both of our lines on the exit. We'll get the power down though. Clean around the outside of Richard Verschore will go. And into P5 then, proving that overtakes can be made. I mean, those top 3 cars are practically pushing each other along here. I wonder if Correa senses an opportunity to try and go for his 3rd win of the campaign. Colapinto, though, definitely seems to be struggling. I think the Argentine might have some small issues in that car right now, as we're going to try and look to the inside for our second overtake on this lap. And I mean, Franco, yeah, he's still one of the drivers up towards the top of the title. There's Pepe Marti, Taylor Barnard again side by side. And again, on the left-hand side, Barnard's the one that made it through. Well, Colapinto's not losing loads of time, but he definitely seems to be struggling on corner exit right now. That gap up to 6.5 tenths, so we're closer to Correa in front there as well. Barnard this time round really tries to get the elbows out. Actually has a bit of a lock-up down the end of the back straight, and now we've got yellows out again. Who is this falling to the wayside then? Is it anybody? Yeah, there's definitely a car stopped, but I can't see on the mini-map who it is, annoyingly. So we'll just have to wait for official confirmation by the FIA. It is... I think that's a Campos. That's gotta be... I think that's Isaac... No, because Pepe Marti's there, so I think that might be Isaac Hadjar that's gone. He's still on the road, though, so he's not out of it. Well, I know I've moaned about the F2 format on a few occasions this year, but it really does allow those drivers that are good at overtaking as well to have confidence not only in the car, but also in their own ability to really try and deliver. And it's these kind of races where, you know, Behrman and Paul Aaron, you know they're starting ahead of us in the main event. We've just got to try and outscore them by as many points as we can in the sprint, and then hope that we can make the difference as well come race day Sunday. As I mean, Pepe Marti, he is so far up Taylor Barnard's rear end at this stage of the Grand Prix. It's incredible that none of these three have lost an end plate or anything like that just yet. As I mean, Juan Manuel Correa hasn't really been able to do anything against either of them. He's certainly not willing to budge either, as can we now try and get a good run back down in towards cell 1, just like we did with Richard Vasseur a few laps ago there. We'll just try and compromise our line slightly through 1. It allows us to carry the speed into 2. And Correa, he was aware of what we were going to try, but unfortunately for him, he was powerless to it. And we will move up into the podium places. Oh, Marti again this time around. He's got the run down the inside of Taylor Barnard once again. And I mean, these two at the front of the order have absolutely put on a show this afternoon. Barnard, though, this time around is not going to back out of it. There are just 3 laps left of this race. And oh, Pepe Marti there, a little bit slow on the apex, slower than I was expecting him to be. And we've still got Correa leaning on us behind. But I think we're even closer to Pepe Marti than we were to Correa last time round. So are we going to be able to do anything more to the Spaniard as well? Of course, we need to try and beat him here to leapfrog him again in the championship, as down the inside we'll go wheel to wheel still with Pepe Marti through the first couple of corners, and he has been a big surprise so far in this campaign. That time round, though, able to hook it up and defend the position against ourselves there, and down this back straight again. The AI, they've got really good drive off of the loop, but we can't do anything. We've got more yellows out though, as that I believe is maybe the other Dams car out of the race. Is it Jack Crawford perhaps? Because Victor Martins was the one that, yeah, that dropped out earlier on, or dropped way behind in the ART. And it is Crawford, who is our second mechanical of the day. Just a lap and a half to go then from this Silverstone sprint, and it's still Taylor Barnard. Still pointless this year, but surely, unless something catastrophic happens, he is going to finally break his curse and join every other driver in this campaign with points on the board. But Pepe Marti knows, unless he can go for a move pretty soon, we are going to try and just go for something on the last lap of this race. We've got nothing to lose at this stage of the campaign, as Marti looks to the left-hand side of Taylor Barnard. Our British driver there will give him just that little bit of room around the outside, but really try and squeeze him out. But Marti will keep the front wing there. Taylor Barnard rather fairly gives him the space, and actually gives up the position. So Taylor Barnard there gives up that P1. Correa, we're trying to look back down our inside there, but we'll just about hook it up and go the long way round against the former sprint winner so far in this campaign. But has Barnard just doing that actually really threw me off kind of through the final chicane. And now he's given both himself and Pepe Marti a little bit of breathing room. And was that a strategic one for Taylor Barnard? Because will that allow him to try and get the run on Pepe Marti on this final lap down that back straight? We've seen those two chopping and changing the lead of this race all afternoon. And is it just played into Taylor Barnard's hand maybe a bit more than we realised on face value there? A little bit wide as we make our way down the end of the Wellington Straight there. We've got to try and keep it clean and tidy. If there are fireworks between these top two, we want to be there to try and capitalise down in towards that final chicane. You basically are trying to set up your run down the end of the Hangar Straight, pretty much from here, down one gear, through Copse Corner, then try and just hang it between the curbing on the exit. Pepe Marti, we're only half a second behind him, and there's a car between us as Barnard, he'll park the nose on the apex through there. Can we try and get the drive off of the corner, though? We will try and throw it through in fourth gear there, but here comes Taylor Barnard against Pepe Marti down the back straight one final time. Pepe Marti's not even going to defend it, as Taylor Barnard there will get to the inside. It'll be the outside through the final couple of corners. Who is going to make this one happen, though? As Pepe Marti's still there, we're going to try and make it 3 wide, as down the inside will go. We only just kept it on the curbs. Marti will try and fight back, but from P3, we have stolen victory.
The Italian driver will look up and see the checkered flag first. Kimi Antonelli takes the win.
Well, sprint races are basic, aren't they? And that's why we like them. Set them all going and let them have at it. And they really showed the racecraft and pace that you need to win them.
As we look back on a thrilling race here today, we can now see the drivers take their places on the podium. It's a familiar sight by now, as it's another successful F2 win for Prema.
Well, there we are then. Poor Taylor Barnard thought he was lining up the move for the win, and in the end, we came out of nowhere to snatch snatch the victory from him, and Taylor Barnard ends up down in P3 there. We also, I didn't realise, took fastest lap bonus point as well there. I just assumed that someone behind us had gone quicker before the end, but slower than Victor Martins there. We snuck it away, but there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars all within half a tenth of each other with their fastest laps in the end. We take the dub, though, ahead of Pepe Marti. Taylor Barnard, though, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, is now on the point-scoring board as well, as our last driver yet to score this season, ahead of Correa, Colapinto, Vashon, Miata, Hajar Behrman, and Paul Aaron there, annoyingly for him, not able to score any points in the end. Let's just double-check, though. Is that now every single driver with points on the board this season? Yes, it is, and poor old Enzo Fittipaldi has been relegated back down to the bottom of the championship standings. Aaron still has a 13-point lead over Bortoletto, as we jump our teammate Ollie Behrman for the first time in a few weekends there. We're just 4 points back, though, from Bortoletto in P2, and constructors-wise, Prema still, yeah, with a 37-point buffer at the top of the table as well. So we know what we got to do as we head into the main event, but Paul Aaron is going to be starting on pole position tomorrow. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be back very soon with more Formula 2 action.